Hello, my friends. I want to continue a little bit from what I talked about the last couple of days. Well, I guess I always talk about it, but specifically about, when you step out of the matrix, you need to step into something else, right? And that's what I talked about yesterday. And it's not easy. I want to just say that it's not easy in the beginning, right? Because we're still so identified with the matrix. So getting out of it, everything in the matrix is going to do everything it can, and it can do a lot to pull you back in. And that's why it's like you need to start building a muscle. I think we have a little visitor here. Hey, Shanti, want to come out? Yeah, well, you need to build a muscle. And most people's muscles to leave the matrix are like very wimpy and weak. So that's why it takes time. And when you go to the gym or start some kind of a new workout, it can be very hard in the beginning because your muscles are so weak. But by keep doing it and practicing and repeating, your muscle will get stronger, and it really will. It's just in the beginning. That's why I do think if this is at the beginning of your journey to leave behind the matrix, I would definitely reach out for help. You can reach out for help from me. This is what I do besides doing my YouTube channel, or whoever else resonates with you, where you feel you will get the support you need for that. And it probably has to be somebody who is aware that we need to let it all go. This is a deep, deep dive into surrender. And we're not used to that. We are used to depend on the matrix and all the things, medicine and all the things that we are so used to here. Having shops, you just go and buy what you want. And then when you don't like it, whatever it's plastic, you just throw it out, right? There's no real sense of sovereignty. We are just moving around like little zombies in the matrix. And that's why it can be very hard in the beginning. But that shouldn't stop us, of course. But I want to share a little bit about how I experience it, not engaging in the matrix. It, I trust and I abide in and I rest in something very different from the matrix. And that, of course, is my soul, my heart, my divine connection, intuition, body wisdom, stillness, presence. It's a very different way to connect with life that really doesn't have much to do with how we are used to it. So when you learn to trust your intuition and learn your body language, then at least you have something to follow or to go by. If you don't have that, it's probably going to be very different or difficult in the beginning because like, well, now what? And that's why I talked about that yesterday, I leaving the matrix, like, now what do I do? So you need some kind of a landing pad, but it's not a landing pad outside of ourselves. The landing pad is our soul connection. And that's why we need to learn how to connect with that and how to know its language. And again, it's so different from what we're used to. And because we're used to the mind, right? The mind has run everybody's life for so long. And even though we may have some spiritual understanding of things, for many it's still in the mind. We can quote things that other people have said and we can believe it and we can love it, but it has to be realized inside of us so that this is our go-to place, period. And that is why it really takes time to really make that leap, and we need to do it over and over. I have also made some videos, I'm sure, about learning what a yes feels like and what a no feels like. And also that there is a place where oftentimes we don't know yet. When we learn that language, the very basics of our body language, again, then we have something to go by. But then we need to learn to trust it, right? So you might start feeling like, oh, somebody's telling you you have to do something. And you just inside, you feel like this no, or this resistance or contraction. That is how your body most likely says yes. Again, it's learning your own body language, and it's going to be different. There's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of variety in how it shows up for each individual. So when there is that sense of resistance, want to pull away, then it's a matter of learning to trust that, and that takes time. That can be very scary, right? Because in the beginning, it's like, well, I don't know if I can trust that. How do I know that's not just my mind? Maybe it's a conditioning, all that stuff. Yes, yes, yes. All that stuff is something we all have to go through. That's why you don't have to perfect it overnight, but you have to practice it consistently to the point where your yes and your no are just very, very clear. There's not all this back and forth and wavering and doubting it. There's just like it's solid. It's very solid. And also that I don't know yet, that means that you just need to give yourself some more time and wait till there is a yes or a no or maybe something else. Who knows? This is what I'm talking about here. So that is how you start living outside of the matrix. It's basically outside of the mind, because the mind is the matrix, as are our senses, our five senses. But we are still here and we need to still live, but we need to start really focusing on what is our truth. How does my soul let me know that we're going in that direction, right? How does my soul let me know to close that door? So these are the signs that we really need to learn to live by, because there is nothing else left. Once you leave the matrix, you move into a very different state of being, a different state of consciousness. And it's like when you move to a different country, you need to learn the language, and it takes time. But the more time you spend in that country with the people, and you practice all the time, then suddenly you notice that you start speaking a whole sentence and it was like effortless. And that's how it is here too. So I want to just give you the heads up on that. It will happen, it's unavoidable, but we need to take that first step and start learning the language of the body, of our intuition, of our soul, of our heart. It's different. For me, it's very, very clear. If there's something that is not right for me, there's just nothing here. it's not even so much no, but there is that too, but there's just nothing that moves me in that direction. And then I trust that. And so maybe you say, well, what if it's wrong, Pernilla? What if I'm doing it wrong? Well, then I will find out soon enough. And then I may go, oh, wow, well, it sure felt like a no, but I can see there were these other things going on. So maybe I can make it change it and turn it into a yes, right? So there's no fear in making mistakes. Fear is of the mind, is of the matrix. Remember, we're leaving that stuff behind, and that takes time. But the more you recognize that fear has been running most of your life, most people's nervous systems are simply vibrating with fear to, however much or little. And that's because we have been completely identified with the matrix. So living outside of the matrix is living in resonance with our soul, with stillness, with love. And of course, it's an ongoing deepening into that. Again, I never pretend that I've perfected any of this, but it is my life, and it's just with me all the time. And then there's just an ongoing deepening. Sometimes I may reach out for help if I can't quite feel it or sense it. Then I just reach out for help because I get a yes on that. It's like, I really want to deepen into this. So I know that I can reach out for help. And that is a big part of our journey anyway, and we should not ignore that. But otherwise, it's it's kind of really like a flow. You're connecting back into the divine flow of how it uniquely flows as you. And the metaphor that I have used before is it's like you're on the ocean and, all the waves are going home, but they all have their different strength and direction and size and depth and intensity. And that's why we need to find the one that we flow with naturally because we can feel it. And that is really what it feels like to me. It is like there is a flow inside of me, and I need to do my best to stay in that flow or on that wave with my surfboard, right? That's where I practice living my life as often as possible. Um, Rarely am I not in touch with that, but if I'm not in touch with it, it may just be that, I'm distracted by something. But I'm always right back here because this has been my practice for so many years. And then the other side of it is that when we are here, the interest to engage in the matrix and to engage with the madness and the drama out there, that you can't waste your time on that or your energy on that, because then you're back in the matrix, and we want to leave the matrix behind. We want to move into a different way of being, different state of being. So the more you can, do not engage with the drama in the world. Engage with it as much as you can to keep your life moving the way it needs to move right now. And to just keep your things in order, whatever the practical things, yes, engage with that. But there is no point in getting out there and getting upset with whoever you don't like or get excited about whoever you do like. It is all matrix. It's all matrix. So the practice that I invite you to do is the one that I have been practicing because of Joel Goldsmith that I shared just recently, is the not reaction, non-reaction. Try to not react. Give yourself a challenge and take a day or maybe half a day where you are going to practice to not react to either what the news is telling you or your neighbors or your social media channels. Just let yourself listen to it and watch it, and then use that as an opportunity to see what arises in you and how this old pattern, and do something. Just notice it and see if you can breathe into it and just let it be there but don't engage with it. So again, it's never about bypassing. It is about allowing it and let that wave complete itself, but not with your identity on it. And this is, I think, where most people, that's what most people have never learned, to be present, fully present in their inner experience without projecting it out. So if you have a strong reaction to somebody out there, feel that reaction. It's your reaction. It's nobody else's. Your neighbor may not have anything even like it, you know. So it's your reaction. So learn to be present with it. And I have a lot of videos on that, and I have a lot of, I have a book about it. You can reach out and work with me privately to learn how to be present in yourself without engaging it, without projecting it out in the world or getting lost in it. So that was a little bit about, living outside of the matrix to the best way I can, right? That's all I can share with you. But it seems to support me in just staying present in my own soul connection, in the stillness, in the peace, in the flow. And that's something that I love, So that's what I'm doing. Feel free to reach out or feel free to comment below if there is anything you want to share or if you need help with that. And let's stay in touch. And you're always free to reach out to me and set up a time for a self-discovery session and see if I might be a good support for you just to move maybe through the first stages of this or middle or last stages. There's always areas in ourselves that could need some support. Okay, my friends, enjoy the journey from here to here, from here to here, and yeah, make that your life's mission if you want.